Hey, what's up, everyone? I am Darkpool Algo, and thanks for joining me on this afternoon watch list building session. Today is Monday, May 24th, 2021, and what a crazy day. The market just took off today. It was like you could have thrown a dart at a dartboard and made money today. The goal of today's session is to go through some stocks that I have on a watch list and see what's going to be available for tomorrow. I also want to review those on the Smart Money Dark Pool Block Trade algorithm software that is provided by FlowTrade. If you haven't got your trial or signed up with FlowTrade yet, there's a link in my description. And let's look for some plays that are going to move tomorrow. The ones that we had today, bananas day. Today was a great day. However, I spent the weekend readjusting my charts and readjusting my setup on Thinkorswim. Thinkorswim lagged and it was just horrible this morning. So I missed some entries, and my trade rule state that if I miss an entry, I'm not gonna chase it. SPX 4200 calls went from $1.50 to over $12. Yeah, it was one of those days. It was one of those days. So with that being said, I didn't chase it. I wasn't able to get into it. So yeah, sometimes that happens, and you just make the best of it. You keep the level head. I got stuck in my head, so I didn't make any trades today. So I need to make sure I get some prepared for tomorrow. With that being said, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications. It really does help me out with the YouTube algorithm. It helps all of us content creators out with the algorithm. Anybody who's out there trying to learn the stock market, learn how to day trade the stock market, learn how to trade options, futures, any of that, you guys have came to the right place. I use technical analysis. Most of the tools that I use are free and available. I do have some proprietary tools, and they serve a very specific purpose, and I've paid for them for a reason, and I will do reviews on those tools and provide links on which ones they are and how you can get them as well. So with nothing else really to say, let's just jump right into it, shall we? All right. All right, welcome back. I have got a short list of stocks that I want to go through. There's about 5 here. Hopefully we can get those done quickly. I know that I'm trying to keep these videos down to approximately under 10 minutes or so. Pretty much everything had movement today, so I'm going off of a list of just ones that I went through rather quickly, and I'm just going to jump right in. ExxonMobil, XOM. Actually, let's start at the top. So we're going to be looking at PLTR, Twitter, BA, VALE, and ExxonMobil, XOM. PLTR had news today of a government contract. Anytime they have news of government contracts, they seem to get a little pop, right? Currently, from a technical standpoint, the MACD just became positive and increasing. We've got a buy signal, whereas the signal line, the RSI signal line, crossed above the upper Bollinger Band. Positive VWAP, 2-day, 3-day, weekly squeeze. Those may fire off to the long side. Great beta. Looking at from a technical standpoint, we've got nice uptrend support coming in. On looking at the daily here. I think that's the daily. So we've got nice uptrend support. We've got 50 SM period 50 period SMA. Our moving averages are stacked negatively, which means that the 8's below the 21, below the 34, or below the 50. What we'd like to happen is this potential squeeze, this slingshot squeeze that's setting up. As you can see here, what happens is that histogram turns from red to yellow, and it's decreasing, and when the squeeze fires off, it creates a larger than expected move that you can see here. And this is that slingshot type of effect that you can see here. When that happens, we like to look for a larger move to the upside. With downtrend support coming in at the 8 EMA, right at $20.50, which is where we pretty much closed today. I like this level for support. So from here, right, with one other level at 20, so 21.15 for support, which is where we closed. If we do drop down, we may squeeze all the way back down to, I'm going to call it 2018, below 2018. I'd look to take PLTR back down to the short side. We do need to get above the 34 and the 50 period to really be validated on a trade to the upside. So anything above this level here, you know, break at 22.50 and it's off to the races. However, you know, we have an opportunity, you know, that's a $1.50 away. So I'm going to throw some Fibonacci levels on from this previous high to this previous low. I'm going to zoom my chart in a little bit, hopefully, so everybody can see. Sorry, I zoomed, there we go. So I went from this high to this low on Fibonacci. Fib level, the 618 retracement comes right in at 21.50. The 50% is where we came down and touched to the 80 MA. So from a symmetry level, looks as if though we're pretty much respecting fib levels. We came up and we touched the 618. We didn't break through it. That's on the daily. We came back down and we closed above the 21. So I'd look for a continued move to the upside with this momentum and uptrend that we have. News, positive MACD. This RSI this will fire off a buy signal tomorrow probably. And with the squeeze firing off, we'd like to see it thrust us through the 34 and the 50 period simple moving average. So from 21.50 to 22.50, right? Nice dollar increments. There may be some turbulence, a little bit of choppiness. The ultimate target for me for this week on PLTR would be from this fib low to this fib high back down. And this is the Fibonacci extension tool, right? That gives me a target forward in time, where the retracement tool shows me a retracement from a previous high to a previous low, right? I do a little wackadoodle to compare to some. So Fibonacci symmetry coming in right at this previous high, right at 22.17 to 22.44. So anywhere in this demand zone is going to be my target. I'm going to look at the 25s for this week. That puts us, well, let's see, we've got a $1.50 ATR. This may be a little aggressive of an approach, right? I'm trying to look to get, hold on one second. Just zoom this out for a second. Come on. See, right? Thinkorswim was doing this all day. It was so miserable. All right. There we go. So we're looking for this week's expiration, which is PLTR is the 28th. I like to draw a line in here to see where the 28th is, right? So that's the 28th. It's possible to reach 25 by the end of this week. You know, that would be this level here. Potentially 26, which would be the 127 extension. That would be this. That would be those targets there. It's as far as options, from an options perspective, with a ton of open interest coming in at 22, both on the call and the put side. That might be a good short-term target. I'm personally going to try to grab some Delta 70 or better, possibly these 20s. I'm going to go ahead and grab those 20s, add them to my watch list for the morning. I like to grab options that are between $1 and $2, and I like to grab them on a pullback. So what I mean by that is, just a second here. I would like PLTR to, move around a little bit overnight, but I like it to pull back to the level that it's at now, or possibly 21.15 before it takes its next move upwards. right? And the reason I say that is if it just runs overnight, there's no catching it, no grab, there's no getting in for me. While that loads, I'm gonna go ahead and look at PLTR on the algo. All right, looks like, just make this larger. I have no idea why things are running so slow today. It's painfully slow. All right, so this is PLTR. This is on the left is today's movement. This is the 5-minute chart, right? We sold off in the morning, popped up, ran into previous resistance at 21.25, which is pretty typical. Then we sold off for the next hour or so until we found support coming in at the 50% retracement right at 20.69. And then it was just net buying the entire day back up to the 618 retracement. So see how price played between those two retracements? What it's done is it's come up, hit this, come back down, and it's trying to form a little cup and handle on the 5-minute. What that looks like on the daily is it popped up, ran into resistance at 618, formed this nice little blue candle, which is an increasing momentum candle, and it tested the 34 EMA on the daily mid. So like I said, I'd like this to maybe come back down, test 21 one more time before it moves back up to our targets. This white line that you see here is point of control, the daily point of control coming in at 23.86, followed by the daily fib coming in at 25.82. So it's got a lot of room to move. I guess that's the short, the long and the short of it is it's got a lot of room to move. Tons of block trades came in. Tons of block trades came in today. Like just all, every 5 cents it seemed like they were throwing a block trade. That's what kind of caused it to just kind of be hindered right here at this 21 to 21.50 level. Not a whole lot of dark pools. We had one at 21.16, and looks like there's another one that's buried. I've got my dark pool block trade meter turned all the way down to just 1 day. Excuse me. Zooming out on this. This is a 15-minute chart. I went over this the other day showing that the algo had turned up down here and that it was looking to be a potential buy. So we came up, we ran into block trade levels, got smacked down. The algo is currently diverged barely from price action to a bullish degree. What that means is that the algo is still net buying, whereas price action is just kind of trying to find itself some support. That's the algo direction. We've got nice uptrend support, upward trend line support coming in here. The algo has curled up, as you can see here. And it's beginning to separate from price action. So if we can get above that 618 retracement, definitely look for PLTR to move on up to 22, 23, 25. That's why I'm going to go ahead and grab those 22s. All right, that's PLTR. The next one I wanted to look at really quickly would be, let's see, that's PLTR on the 4-hour. I'm running into some serious scaling issues with my charts. On the 4-hour, we got the 2-day and 3-day squeeze getting ready to fire off. Looks like a little mini cup and handle, right? Where the next move would be, it'd be the next leg up. This could be also considered a little bull flag that's forming on the 4-hour. Let's see, we've got a nice volume buy signal. And then, yeah, we're right at the 4-hour Keltner channel top. So if we can get through that, it's definitely going to release all of that energy. The next one I wanted to look at real quick was Twitter. Twitter. If you've been with me for the last couple of weeks, you know that Twitter's been one of my favorite plays. It's produced a lot of opportunities. I had called out the 55 monthly expiration calls out on Twitter. Some people had took it. and I'm pretty sure I'd be pretty interested to see how they did. I'm sure they made some pretty good profit. Let's see, because I think we got in at like 40 cents. All right, so Twitter, looking at the dark pool block trade smart money algorithm software. This is flow trade. All right, so the algo has diverged from price. We've got block trades coming in as recent as today at 56.59. This appears to be a little bit of trading with price action and consolidation on the algorithm, in that it's not a specific X that's forming the divergence. I'm going to have to be a little careful with this because we do have, let's see, looking for divergences that have played out. So price action, we got nice uptrend support that can be seen here, right? This divergence is played out here, which is essentially this divergence, right? All this divergence is played out. Come on. Right, all that divergence is played out. This divergence, most of this divergence has played out. We do, let's see, we got a dark pool level that came in today right here at 56.59, and a dark pool and block trade level, regular block trade level, that came in at 56.85. If those blocks can hold up and the algo curls up over the next day or so, we can look for a continued price up. If not, we have, you know what, we definitely have some opportunity to come to the downside. This would be a good retracement, so from 57 probably down to 55. So Twitter's forming like a nice cup and handle. Looks like it's beginning to set up a 3-bar play. This is on the daily, so this green bar followed by a red bar closed above the 200, and then the next bar is green closing above the red. So the third bar would be, you know, potentially a longer bar to the upside. So here's the positives. We've got nice uptrend support. It's pretty significant and pretty steep, so that may be indication we may need to come back and test this 200 for additional confirmation of support. However, we've got nice neutral volume. That slingshot effect on the Squeeze Pro is happening. We just got a buy signal from our B4, which means that our RSI signal line is just crossed above the Bollinger Band, and the MACD is positive and increasing. We came in, we closed above the 21 EMA on the daily. We didn't quite hit the 34 or the 50 yet. Those are obviously going to be next targets. We've got previous resistance that is going to provide support coming in at 56.08, and we have not broken the previous high at 57.63. So that 57.63 is a pretty significant level because it is the 34 EMA, right? And we may bounce off of that, form a flag for the next couple days, gathering up momentum to get us back up over the 34 and on our way back up to the 50 SMA. As far as from Fibonacci is going to tell us that, so if I went from this high, oh, that's the time series. We'll get into that later. I love Fibonacci time series. So if I go from this high to this low, that gives us support coming at 54.38. However, if I go with the extension from this high to this high, right, just looking for levels of symmetry here. I may have to drop this down to the 4-hour to get a better view. That is the 4-hour. So let's see what I'm saying. We came up, we smacked into the 4-hour 50. We couldn't get above that. However, it's beginning to stack our EMAs positive. We've got a 4-hour squeeze that just fired off on Friday. Nice upward momentum. We do have the 200 SMA to worry about once we break that previous high at 56.63. So see how that 141 extension runs right into the 4-hour 200 SMA? So the short-term target is going to be 61.16. Taking profit at 60. If I were to get into those, so 61. All right, so we got a $2 anticipated move. We had a ton of movement today. Let me see. This is probably this. I don't know if it's got enough momentum or enough gas to continue on a strong bullish run. I would look for a pullback. So from 57, I would look for a pullback to the zooming is just not working today. Come on. Alright, so we just basically sold and basically bought all day. We got a 5, 10, 15, 20 minute squeeze. Once those fire, that may help us out. That may create that little firecracker approach. We don't have a market extension isn't giving us a buy signal yet. It's still neutral. So I'd look for that to maybe wake up over the next day or so. Definitely like to pull back to that 56.08 level before we try to take the next move up. So Twitter, it looks a little overextended where it's at now. Depending on what it does overnight, I'll keep an eye on it. With the algos not necessarily pulling price action up, I'd look for a potential retracement back to 56.08 before the next move up to test the 34 or to test previous low at 59.28. From an options contract perspective, I'm going to go ahead and grab some, let's see. I like these 56s here. So think about when it does pull back, those 56s are going to become less than what they are now. And that's probably when I'll try to get in. All right, the next one I had real quick was BA. These last three, if there's not bullish divergence, I'm just going to move on to the next one. In the interest of keeping these sweet. BA looks a little bit all right. VALE, whatever it is. Come on. All right. Lots of block trades coming in. We do have, so previous bearish divergence is all played out. The algo is trading with price action right now on the 15-minute. We have a block trade support that came in right at 2069. All right, this is going to be a really quick one. So we've got a dark pool level here at 2069 that's created resistance. We've got a little bit of uptrend support. The algo has begun to diverge from price action. Looks like 2069. There's a ton of block trades coming in starting at 21, from 21 to 21.25. So this 25-cent level right here, ton of resistance. Break that, then we start to get a little bit more wind beneath our wings, right? VALE. This stock pays really well. I've played it before. The options chain is pretty decent as far as liquidity goes. So it looks like we hit $23, the all-time high. We came back. We tested the 34 EMA for 2 days in a row now. We do have good ADX. We move about $1 a day. We didn't close below the 34 EMA, which is good. And this cluster that you see here is pretty much this previous demand zone that is now a supply zone. So from 2061 to 21, right? It's going to be a little choppy maybe in there a little bit. However, we'd like to, let me see what we got as far as, let's see, it came down, we sold off. A little bit of loss of momentum. Got a ready aim fire. You know, I'm going to give this one a couple more days. Just because I feel like it may just fade back down to, right, this previous 1975. All right, that's one level it may fade to, so 1975 or potentially 1878. To the upside, if we can get above 21, you know, we're going to run into immediate resistance at 2138, followed by 22. So we're kind of just in the middle right now. Like, I'm not super thrilled on the momentum behind it, so we'll come back to it in a couple of days. Looking at XOM, ExxonMobil. I'll keep an eye on this one. Give that divergence a little bit more time to develop. All right, this is gonna be the last one, I think. Come on, XOM. All right, that's what I'm talking about. Nice, strong, bullish divergence. We've got some block trade support. We've got a cluster right at 59.45 to 59.30-ish, and that's a mix of dark pool and block and regular block trades. We've got nice, strong net buying on the algo, right? As you can see here, we do have some, looks like some previous resistance that we're going to run into. But once we break above that resistance, we've got gap fill time coming in. The algo is curled up. One more thing, we've got nice uptrend support, right? Obviously, nice uptrend support. I should have drawn this from back here. There we go. Nice uptrend support. XOM. So it looks like we came down, we bounced off the 50 period SMA. We came up, we tested where we've got momentum. Looks like there's a squeeze that's fired off. Looks like the 4 hour may have, or the daily may have fired. And we've got a buy signal. Oh, this is a 4 hour. Let's move it over to, all right, so this daily, nice cup and handle. Cup, handle, next move up. Neutral, volume, oscillator, daily squeeze just fired off. All right, we're looking for the 3-day to fire off. We move about $1.50 per day. Looks like we're flagging right here. So what I mean by flagging is, so this is previous low, massive resistance level, 59.75, and then we've got uptrend support coming in. As you can see, the uptrend support comes in, creates this little pennant. So a break above 59.75, and then we're going to have some Fibonacci targets. All right. Initial target's going to be 60.75, followed by 62.30, followed by 63.40. So a break of 60. So the 59. So if we break 59.75, I would like to grab those 58s. Right, 58s for a target of 60.75. Or potentially 62. All right, so grab the 58s. Grab the 58s, hold them to 62, right? Looking at, let's see, some other levels here. Yep, that seems to work. All right, the volume oscillators neutral but increasing. We've got a 4 hour, 3-day, 4-day squeeze. This histogram's curling around doing that slingshot effect. MACD is about to curl up and go. So probably maybe tomorrow we'll get the golden cross of that. Nice uptrend support. We closed above the 34 EMA. We tested the 21 EMA's resistance. So like I said, we close above, if we get a break above 59.75, look for that run into initially 60 and then 62, then 63. ExxonMobil is, yeah, so we popped up, we ran into previous resistance. We've got a red, green, blue candle pattern. So the sector is green, right? The 8, the 13, and the 21 is bullish. The sector is neutral. That uptrend is nice, right? Previous resistance comes in right at the value area high of the daily point of control. Yeah, I like this one. This one looks good. So we just turned green. We may get another day or so of consolidation before it pops and thrusts us through. So that's it for me. Thanks for joining me. Once again, my name is Dark Pool Algo. And if you find this content useful, make sure you subscribe. All right, wait a minute. I got to do this right for once. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications when you can be notified of more useful stock market content. Learning how to trade the stock market is easy. Now, thanks for joining me. I really do appreciate it. Share this with your friends. It really does help me out. And have a great day.